All right, so today we are looking at graphing systems of linear inequalities, okay? So today, instead of taking our typical notes, we're actually going to work examples because all that graphing a system of linear inequalities is just graphing lines, okay? But you're doing two of them, okay? So the big thing we learned from yesterday as you come out here and you graph inequalities there are two big decisions you have to make. Is your line going to be dashed or is it going to be solid? And then do you shade above it or do you shade below it? Now, the difference that's going to happen when you do systems is you're going to have to shade it twice. And where the shades overlap is going to be your actual answer, okay? That's going to be the biggest thing you do. What I suggest for all of you to do is to use a colored pencil or have a pen or something so you can do one line in one color and one line in another. All right, now, that's something I suggest. Or you could use a highlighter. Here's the thing that's very dangerous with that. You need to make sure that you do what? Graph it correctly. If you mess up with the graph and you've got it in pen, that's going to be something hard to undo. All right, so that's just an idea, but that's one of my things. So one thing you could do is graph it with a pencil. Once you know it's right, make sure then just go over it with a highlighter. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. All right, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do here, and I'm going to kind of take you through the process of what I would do. So there are 6 examples. I'll probably work 3 of them and then give y'all some time to work, and then we'll check on those, okay? So let's start here with number 1, okay? So number 1 gives me 2 different lines. The first one is y is less than or equal to 3x plus 3. The second one, y is greater than 1/2 x minus 2. Now, the thing that's nice about this first example, are both of these already in slope-intercept form? Yes. Yes, they are. They are ready to be graphed. So, watch how I am going to do this, okay? So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a yellow line, okay? So, as I look at this with this yellow line, all right, I've got y is less than or equal to 3x plus 3. Well, to be able to graph this, I need 2 big things. I need to know my slope, and I need to know my y-intercept. Well, what is my slope here? 3, which is really 3 over 1. And my y-intercept is 3. So, if I wanted to graph this, and I'm just looking at the first one, I would go up 1, 2, 3, because that's where my y-intercept is. And then I got to graph it. Now, as I look at this, okay, I could count up 3 and kind of estimate where it is, but really there's not enough room on the graph, is there? So if I can't count up, which way do I have to count? Down. And it's 1, 2, 3. But since I went down and my slope is positive, that means I need to go negative direction. Because when you have a positive slope, you either go up and to the right or you go down into the left. So then I'm going to continue doing it. 1, 2, 3 over 1. And that will give me, okay, the dots I need to create my first line. Now, as I look at my first line, is it going to be solid or is it going to be dashed? Solid. It is going to be solid, okay? So I'm just going to make notes this first time through. It is a solid line. So then all I got to do is come straight through here and connect and draw my line. Now, just a reminder, when it is a solid line, does that mean it is part of the answer solution? Yes. When it is solid line, that is, if the dot was on there, that is part of the solution that would work. Okay? Now, the next thing to do is look and decide, are we going to shade above or below? Stay locked in. Are we going to shade above or below? We are going to shade below. The reason it's below is because y is less than or equal to. Now, with all the shading that is going to go on, watch how I'm going to do this. I'm really going to just try and make it a generic shade. I'm not going to go in there and make it so dark that you can't see everything. Are y'all with me? Okay? So, do you see how kind of that all works together? And then if that's not enough shade for it, you can kind of go the other way just to get it. So that way I really know, hey, all of this over here is going to be shaded out, right? Everybody cool? Okay? The reason I do it this way is now you can still see all of this where you could plot points and graph it and do all that, and it's not just over the top. Okay? Now, second side, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use blue here. Okay? As you do this, we just talked about it. Is this one already in slope-intercept form? Yes. It's got y by itself. So your slope is 1 over 2. Your y-intercept is -3. And I guess I forgot to do this. It's solid and below for the first one. I forgot to write that up top just to help myself out. Okay? So, as I'm looking at the blue one, let's go plot it. Start at -3, and it's a positive slope. So you go up 1, to the right 1, 2. Up 1, to the right 1, 2. Okay? You could have also gone down and to the left 1, 2. Down to the left 1, 2. All right, so I've got all my points there that are blue. Now, as I look at this, what kind of line is it going to be? Dash. It is going to be a dashed line, okay? The reason it is dashed is because it is not the or equal to. Y'all with me? So, as I come in here and create, what's up?
You started at -3 and not -2.
Dang, why didn't you guys tell me until I finished all that? All right, hold on. All right, so hey, for those of you digital learners at home, I started at the wrong point and messed it up, okay? The y-intercept is -2, okay? So that was my fault. I copied down the wrong one, okay? So just to be clear, it is -2. I just got ahead of myself. All right, it is still going to be a dashed line. All right, so I do know it will be dashed, but let me replot those points. So I'm at -2, so then it's up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, or it could have been down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Now, as I plot this, what do you notice about a certain point on here? Correct. Does that matter in inequalities? No, it doesn't. Because the only thing that matters is that the shaded areas that are the same. Okay, now, watch how you're going to do this with the second one. Okay? So I realized that it is going to be a dashed line. The next thing I realized is that what? Do I shade above or below? Well, in this case, it is y is greater than, so you want to shade above. Now, typically when you shade above, if you want to make it nice and easy on yourself, okay, we're looking for the area that is shaded both colors, correct? That's essentially what we're going to be looking for, right? So if I have to shade above on this graph, do I really need to shade everything up here? No. I could just shade the area that was already shaded because that's my answer choice. All right, now, that's where I'm going to go in the future. I'll do that next example. But let me show you this example, what it would look like. If you just shaded everything above, watch what this would look like. Okay? Is everybody seeing what's going on? Okay? That's what shading the top part of this looks like. Now, here is what I highly recommend. After you have shaded both lines, you need to go and find a darker color, okay? Or you could use your pencil and just color it in really hard. But you want to find where they overlap. So I'm going to outline it right now in this black. This is everything that overlaps. That means this is everything in here that is my answer. And I'm going to color it all, or shade it all, so that I can truly tell. So as you can see here, this area that is getting the darker shade is my solution. Are y'all with me? Is anybody got any questions right now? Okay. Not a super hard concept. It's just a concept that takes more time, and you have to be super careful to ensure that you're getting the correct area. So, what you have just discovered here, just to reiterate, is that even though this whole area over here was area for the yellow line, and this was all answers for the blue line, the only answers that will work for the system, again, that means both equations, is in this area that I shaded the black color. Okay? So, just like yesterday, if you were given points, unless the point is in this black area, it would not work. Are y'all with me? All right. Let's continue on. I'm going to do number 3. I'm going to do all the odd ones. Yeah, I'm going to do all the odd ones. Okay? All right, so looking at number 3. These are also kind of already ready to go, right? So, let's start with our first one, the yellow. Okay? Is the yellow in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
Yes, it is. What is the slope? -3. Remember, that really means it is -3 over 1 or 3 over -1. Good. I just want to make sure that you're accurate. Okay? What is the b value? -2. So, let's come over here and graph that stuff out. You start at -2. Now, it's -3 over 1. So if you followed that way, you would go down 1, 2, 3, but then go right +1. You could also go the other way, which is +3 up, 1, 2, 3, but then you got to go left 1. And that one has some room to do it a few more times. Everybody agree? Yes. So, as you sit there and look, the next thing to decide, is this a dashed line or is it a solid line?
Dash.
It is a dashed line. Okay? So you've got a dashed line. So, as I go to connect it, I just make sure that it looks like that. Hopefully you have a ruler. I've got to figure out how to use my ruler on here again. Okay? Then you've got to decide, do you shade above or below?
Above.
Above. That would be correct. Okay? So you shade above because y is greater than. Now, which side is above here? Is it the side to the left or is it the side to the right? It is the right side. Good. So you come over here and you shade above again. Okay? So I'm going to do my little lines like I was doing. Okay? And then make sure I get them going the other way. Okay? So, there is my area that has been shaded. Y'all with me? All right. Now, for the blue line here, this one's a little bit easier. When it is just y and a number, is it a horizontal line or is it a vertical line? Horizontal. Okay, it's side to side because it's got to cross the y-axis. So as I look, it says y is less than 1. So is it going to be a solid or a dashed line through 1? It will be a dashed line. So through 1, I'm just going to put a little dashed line, making sure that I can tell that it is a dashed line. Okay? Now, it says y is less than 1. So are we going to shade above or below? Below. Okay, now, I'm going to do this one like I had told you that I typically like to do them, right? I'm shading below, correct? So, do I really have any reason that I need to shade over here in this area that's got nothing? No, because the only area that's going to matter is the area that already has something shaded. Okay? This just makes it a little bit cleaner. I have had students who don't like to do anything but shade the area where they both overlap. That is just very hard to do, in my opinion. Okay? So, I always shade the first line all the way, whatever it needs to be. The second line, I shade it to match. All right? And then I still go back in there and I shade over it super dark so that I know exactly where my shaded area is. Everybody good? All right. Questions? Any questions? All right, let's stop right there. Do y'all want to? Y'all try the two on the front. Try the other two on the front. Then we'll work them out, and then we'll look at the back. Ready, set, go. All right. After giving you some time to look, we're gonna work these other two on the front page. All right. So if we start with number 2, all right, I'm gonna go a little bit faster. So just slow me down if you need some help. Number 2 is already in standard form. Your slope is -1, which again means it's either -1 over 1 or 1 over -1. And your y-intercept is -2. So if you plot that and go, you should get a line that looks like this. Okay? As I look at that, it is going to be a solid line. So I can just connect those points through. All right. And then I see that it is greater than, y is greater than, so it will be above. So I'm going to shade all of this area up here. Okay. Okay. Looks something like that. Second one, all right, is also already in slope-intercept form. Your m is -5. So again, that could be -5 over 1 or 5 over -1. All right, your b value is +2. Well, it's +2. You have to use the -5 over 1 to get a point here. So you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. This is another one that is a solid line, okay, because it is the greater than or it's less than or equal to. Okay. Now, check this out real quick, okay, because some of you showed it to me and I might have just looked at it but told you I didn't work it out. So now I'm working it out. This one, are we shading above or below?
Below.
You should be shading below. Okay? Now, as you look at the blue line, where is below? Well, it's tilted to the left. So below it is to the left. Okay? So that means you're shading everything over here. Now, I'm going to stop and just shade in my area that I know needs to be shaded just to clean it up a little bit. And then I'll go over it with my dark here. But this area right here would be my solution. Okay? This is just making sure you know what is above and below and that it will change depending on which way the line is tilted. All right. Any questions on there? No? Good? All right. Let's look down here then at number 4. Now, number 4 is a really cool example because it's not in slope form. So I'm just going to rewrite them and work it out. That's the easiest way to do this. So for the first line, you subtract x from both sides, and you're left with y is less than negative x minus 3. Now it's there. We know our m is negative 1. We know that our our y-intercept is negative 3. Okay, so it's at negative 3. You should get a line that looks like this. Now, the big points here, it is going to be a dashed line. Okay, so as I go to connect it, you are now a dashed line. And then I have to look. Well, as I solved it, it was y is less than. So it's going to be everything that is below. So I'm shading all the stuff that is down here. Okay? Questions on the first one? Okay? Everybody's good. So let's look at the second one. It is 5x minus y, which is greater than negative 3. Step number 1, minus 5x. Negative y is greater than negative 5x minus 3. Uh-oh, what are we going to have to do? Divide everything by a negative. When we do that, you beat me to it. You've got to flip your sign. So now, y will be less than 5x plus 3. Y will be less than 5x plus 3. Now, as you look at this, where are you going to put your dot? 3. Can you count up 5? No. So you're going to have to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you go over 1 because it is a positive slope. This is another one that is what?
Dashed.
This is dashed. Okay. Dasher. What a cool name. Okay. So it is a dashed line. Now, looking at this, it says, since we flipped it, y is less than. So it'll be a dashed line, and then it is going to be where?
Under.
Yeah, under or below. Where is under here? Is it up here or down here? It is down there in that little triangle. That is correct. So the only area is actually going to be this little triangle.
Or what Johnny like to say, a square. It's even no shapes.
Only glass, no shapes.
Y'all relax. All right. So, noticing that. Okay. Any questions on any of that so far?
No.
Okay. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you some time right now to go ahead and flip over to the back and take a look at those. Once we come back from lunch, I will work those out. After I work those out, we got 2 things that we're going to do. Okay? We are going to do a writing prompt, and then you're going to have your practice homework. Okay? Ready, set, work. All right, so after giving you some time right here, let's look at numbers 5 and 6. Okay? So, looking at number 5, it is already in slope-intercept form. Your slope is negative 3, which we know how that's going to work out. Your b is 1. So, you put your dot at 1, and then you're going to go down 1, 2, 3, over 1, down 1, 2, 3, over 1. Or you could have gone up 1, 2, 3, and then left 1. All right, that is going to be a solid line. So as you go here to connect it, okay, there's your solid line. And then as you look, it says y is less than, so you want to shade below. All right, so there's all the yellow. Okay, then you do your blue. It is also ready. Here, m is equal to -3. B is equal to -3. So you're right here, down at -3, and then it's going to be up 1, 2, 3 over 1, up 1, 2, 3 over 1, up. Okay, now this is also a solid line. Here's the big thing I want to bring up to you right here. What do you notice about the slopes here? They are the same. That means these lines are parallel. When we had regular equations, you would get a no solution answer. However, here, you shade, so there is going to be an answer, okay? Because at some point they're going to have to cover and cross each other out. All right, so right here, this was again a solid line. I actually went ahead and did that. Here it's greater than, so you want to shade above. Now, watch what happens when you shade above. It's just that little area inside of here.
Isn't that the answer?
That is the answer.
Let's go.
Okay? So it is all of this area that is connected inside of there. That's the only place that it overlaps. Okay? All right. Working number 6. Number 6, you had to solve this thing out. So you had x plus y is less than -2. You start by subtracting x. So you get y is less than -x minus 2. Your slope is -1. Your b value is -2. Once you graph it, you should get a line that looks like this. Okay? And as you look at it, this is going to be a dashed line. So you make your dashes through it. Okay? And then you want to shade where? Well, as you look at it, remember you've got to use the new simplified one. It says y is less than, so you're going to shade below. Okay? So there it is, shaded below. Then you've got to work your blue line. So you've got x plus y is less than -3. You subtract your x's. Y is less than -x minus 3. So now you're down here where m is -1, b is -3. So you go and do this. The lines are again the exact same slope. Okay? This is a dashed line. So you go through again just like before. And as you look at it, it is y is less than. So again, it will be below. So it's everything underneath. Good. All right. Now, I'm finishing shading this thing in. What you are about to do is you are all going to make sure that you log on to Canvas. Complete writing prompt number 3. And as y'all are starting to do that, I will go through and pass out to you your homework for practice. The only thing that's due on Canvas is the writing prompt. None of the homework or anything like that. Ready, set, go.